High spots and cheap pops! Ladies and gentlemen, this is Silicon Steve Alley, and I am here with Vladi Daddy. He likes to pod. Everybody, we are aglow
with one of the best Royal Rumble finishes we've ever seen involving the Bloodline and Sami Zayn.
Welcome to High Spots and Cheap Pops.
Just a couple days removed
from past what the Royal Rumble, we saw Cody Rhodes, of course, as many predicted. We both predicted, the whole entire world predicted it. Walks out as the Royal Rumble victor. Rhea Ripley the winner on the women's side of things, but everyone is talking with tens of millions of views on social media, all over the internet. The Sami Zayn breakup of the Bloodline. Sami Zayn making a choice, either put his friend Kevin down and out for a very long time, or an act of defiance against the tribal chief Roman Reigns. He picks the latter, swiping a chair at Roman Reigns' back, just like that son of a bitch Seth Rollins did when he ended the Shield. What a just heavy cinematic moment of professional wrestling. Just great cinematic drama of professional wrestling, when professional wrestling is great. It's been building for a long time, and the different characters have evolved from this. It's been incredible. Jey Uso and Sami Zayn, what their relationship became, and how Jey Uso steps away from the Bloodline, walks away from the Bloodline, Roman Reigns, solo his own brother and Paul Heyman. But he doesn't necessarily side with Sami either, leaves, and the Bloodline, the rest of the Bloodline leaves Sami and Kevin Owens beaten and defeated, and just the emotion and the heaviness of this moment. Roman feeling the pain that he felt when the Shield was betrayed. Solo Sikoa finally getting months of frustration out and finally doing to Sami Zayn what he probably seemingly wanted to do for many months. Jey Uso, who used to hate Sami Zayn, wouldn't want anything to do with him, was the only person that told Sami to his face how he really felt. That's his words. He became like a brother to Sami Zayn and stuck up for Sami Zayn. Won a match defending the tag team championships just days before the Royal Rumble. And Sami Zayn had an opportunity to put Kevin Owens down when he was chained. And he took that share to Roman Reigns. And I tell you what, the pop in that audience at that moment. What an incredible moment, Vladi Dottie. It was everything we expected and more. Your reactions?
You really nailed it. Honestly, it was like something out of a movie, and we finally got sort of the end of this chapter that we felt brewing for, quite a few weeks here. In regards to the Bloodline story with Sami's involvement, so many ups, so many downs, really some funny moments, some bittersweet moments as we look back on it, especially. And what's really ironically beautiful is that it ended up being, of all people involved in this major storyline, probably the most major one we've seen in many, many years. Like, I'm trying to think off the top of my head, what does this compete with? Well, we're how this Bloodline storyline has progressed. But here it involves the Bloodline, one of the strongest families in wrestling history, and then, of all things, a friendship between two guys that is undoubted. Childhood friends, grew up loving the business, and they and their personalities, and more importantly, their friendship became pretty much the spark for the disintegration of Sami Zayn's involvement here with the Bloodline. He's no longer an honorary Uso. The parallels drawn to Roman getting turned on with basically trusting his back to whoever's behind him. So it seems to be his only fatal flaw, really. It's like Achilles' heel. It's Roman's back. And Roman leaves himself vulnerable, and Sami which is, and I've been thinking about it since we watched it, how it evolved there. And Sammy, away from the ring, and you could just tell he's the type of guy you probably could have a conversation about anything about. Seems like a really decent guy at the heart of it. And certain charities that he's involved in, just even his approach and his reaction to different wrestlers and just different things that he's been involved in, seems to be a very personable, nice, decent guy. And
mensch.
Total mensch, man. Schmooly. And here he's faced with his best friend handcuffed to those ropes, in which terrible damage could be done in the most vulnerable of moments. And Sammy didn't break who he is. I mean, I think he, as a character, truly loved being a part of the Bloodline. It seemed just beautifully done. Like his involvement, his excitement, his enthusiasm. He made it almost, and this truly has gotten him over. I mean, the closest thing this might have been familiar to is like Daniel Bryan's movement. I mean, I actually am enjoying this more, if we're being honest.
I like Sami Zayn as a character. I like Sami Zayn more now than I did Bryan Danielson or Daniel Bryan back then.
And I'd agree with you. He's that entertaining. So here you had Sammy, and he's faced with the entire family, and he has to man up and sticks up for his best friend, his brother, and doesn't want any harm to come to him. And Roman was going to go full heel and look to maim somebody in this bit, in this part of the storyline here. And Solo was there for him. Jimmy was there for it. Well, more than willing, even Jay to a certain extent. But then as Sammy has that breakthrough moment and then turns on Roman, I mean, the whole situation there where Jay has a moment of clarity in ways too. He's been the one, as you've mentioned, to go against the grain of Roman Reigns. He's been a very important member of the Bloodline by all means, but he's almost the voice of reason sometimes in the room. He's Roman's the Roman's devil's advocate, if you will. They're not always eye to eye, but they're still family. And instead of just everybody being a yes man in this faction, this is what's sort of fascinating. You have somebody in these different personalities and how they've all sort of changed in ways. But just seeing this, how it evolved, really great wrestling, really great, tremendous moment. And now where do we go? I mean, Jay walks out, leaves them behind, the Bloodline. Kevin and Sammy pick up the pieces once again.
There was no interaction with them after the match. When everything went off air, they actually had Kevin being carried out, Sammy, and there was no interaction between the two.
I mean, that's going to be for an interesting segment, I'd say, that first time back as they clear the air and clear the room.
And they need that moment because you hear how great of friends they are and all that, but they have turned on each other a few, I think 3 or 4 times already since 2015 when Kevin Owens got to NXT. So with that said, they need that moment to show that bond between the two of them on screen. So it kind of catches up to everything you've heard about off screen. And where do you go from here is a great question. And I just want to go back on Jey Uso a little bit. Not only has he been an important character of the Bloodline, he could be the most important character of the Bloodline in many regards. It all started with him. It really did. I mean, if we go back and remember what Roman Reigns did to Jey Uso to get him to basically be his bitch, to basically do his bidding, to basically become a forced member of the Bloodline. I mean, he beat down Jimmy when Jimmy was hurt just so he can get him to CI quick because he didn't want anything bad happening to his brother. Yeah. I mean, Roman tortured the shit out of Jey Uso. That's still there. There's a lot there. I don't give a damn what the tribal chiefs say. He said it just a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And of course, now the now famous Killing Usi promo.
Yeah.
And it's that relationship and what Jey Uso has become. And what was my biggest complaint a couple months ago was that the Usos went back to being the Usos. I don't know which one's which. I don't really care which one's which. Doesn't matter. You knew Jimmy wears a hat, has longer hair. I get that. But overall, what was the differentiating factors between the two of them? Right. Now you see a clear difference between the two. They're their own individual stars at this moment. And Sammy was the biggest reason that came to be. So it is absolutely amazing what this has done for everyone's career. What this storyline has done for the Usos, for Solo, for Roman, and it keeps Paul Heyman at the top of the card where he has been since 2012, since he came back. And it's absolutely incredible. Where do we go is the point. I think all signs point towards Sami Zayn, Roman Reigns in Montreal.
Thank you so much for watching High Spots and Cheap Pops. This is Silicon Valley for Vladi Daddy. Please hit the subscribe button, and thank you so much for watching High Spots and Cheap Pops. Here endeth the lesson.